Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into global warming. We've got this pile of sources you sent over, and we're planning to, really dig into them. The aim is to pull out the key bits, maybe some surprising details often missed. So let's get started. Okay, so our sources define global warming pretty clearly. It's this long-term heating of Earth's surface, mainly because of human stuff, like pumping out greenhouse gases. But it's more than just getting warmer, right? It's the speed of it. So thinking about how these gases work, what's something about that heat trapping people might not grasp, even if they know the basics?
Well, yeah, it's interesting because it starts with something totally natural. The Earth gets energy from the sun, right? It absorbs some, reflects some back. And these greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, they trap some of that reflected energy. It's kind of like a blanket, basically. It keeps us warm enough to live here.
The natural greenhouse effect. Got it.
Exactly. But the big change, and this is what the sources really hammer home, is how much we've intensified that since the Industrial Revolution. Burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas, plus cutting down forests and certain types of farming. These things have just shot up the levels of CO, methane, nitrous oxide. So it's not just a blanket anymore. It's like
Right.
we're adding layer after layer really fast.
Okay, so thickening the blanket rapidly,
Yeah.
and the sources back this up with hard evidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the standout numbers or observations that they point to?
Oh, absolutely. The data is quite striking. The most cited figure is probably the global average temperature increase. It's over 1.1 degrees Celsius since the late 1800s.
Over a degree. Doesn't sound like a lot, maybe.
Well, in climate terms, it's huge. And
Ah,
the rate of that change is unprecedented in, well, basically all is recorded history.
yeah.
And you see the effects directly. Melting glaciers, ice caps shrinking, that directly feeds into sea levels rising faster than we expected.
Right, faster than expected. And it's not just temperature and sea level, is it? What other sort of concrete signs do the sources mention? Maybe things people see but don't connect.
Yeah, definitely. The sources link this warming to more frequent and more intense extreme weather. Think record-breaking heat waves, stronger storms, deeper droughts. And something else, maybe less obvious day to day, is shifts in wildlife. Animals moving, habitats changing, populations dwindling. It's a silent indicator that the systems are under stress.
Systems under stress.
And these environmental shifts, they don't happen in isolation. They cause ripple effects. Environmentally, you've got coral reefs bleaching, species facing extinction, oceans getting more acidic, which messes up the whole marine food web.
Okay, so clear environmental damage. What about people?
They have social impacts, too. People being displaced from coastal areas or drought-ridden land, food security issues, water scarcity becoming more common. And then there's the economic hit damage to roads, buildings, power grids from storms, massive losses in agriculture, plus the rising costs of just responding to disasters. It all connects.
It really does sound like a complex web. So, faced with all this, what about solutions? The sources must talk about what we can actually, do. What collective actions stand out?
They do, and the focus is definitely on large-scale collective effort first. The biggest one is cutting greenhouse gas emissions drastically. That means shifting hard towards renewable energy, solar, wind, etc., and really focusing on using energy more efficiently everywhere.
Okay, energy is key. Anything else on that scale?
Yes, reforestation and afforestation, planting trees, basically,
Yeah.
because they soak up CO. And underpinning all of that is the need for strong climate policies from governments and international cooperation, like the Paris Agreement. Those are seen as essential frameworks.
Right, the big picture policy stuff. It feels huge, almost overwhelming sometimes. How do the sources connect that to, well, us, to individual actions? Do they bridge that gap?
Yeah, they do try to connect the dots. It's clear that while policy drives the big changes, individual choices really do add up and support the shift. They mention things like, thinking about how much meat we eat, choosing carpooling or transit over driving alone, just being mindful of energy use at home. It's partly about the direct impact, but also about signaling that demand for change, pushing companies and governments. Every bit helps build momentum.
That makes sense. Seeing how our own choices fit into that bigger picture, the policies, the global agreements, it seems crucial. So thinking about that balance, the global scale and the personal scale, how might weaving those together better actually speed things up? And maybe more importantly for you listening, what could that integrated approach actually look like in your own life, day to day? Something to think about.